This is Saitama's pet, Rover, and he is an absolute beast in the One Punch Man manga. Disaster level dragon, he's taken on the likes of Garou, taking a punch and just shaking it off like it's nothing. He even has the ability to shoot a death beam, comparable to Saitama's death punch, I don't know. But once you see his destructive power, you will be blown away. He was even able to withstand a punch from Saitama, one of the only monsters in the entire series to do so. He took on the likes of Fubuki combined with Bang and Bomb, who both unleashed their cross-fang Dragon Slayer fist, and he still survived. And then finally, in the most recent chapter of One Punch Man, the monster god sent two of his divine beasts, which are above disaster level dragon. They attacked the city, and Rover attacked back, causing a beam struggle. He's one of the strongest characters in the entirety of the One Punch Man series. So who is this adorable, lovable pet of Saitama? His name is Rover, and we're gonna break down in this video today everything about him, all of his fights, why he's so cute and fun, and what he means for this series. I'm Mastar. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. Mastar. Our first introduction to Rover is during the Monster Association arc, so we actually will get to see him in Season 3 of the One Punch Man anime coming up. As Garou is in the Monster Association, on his move to rescue Terrio, he's backed into a corner by this giant monster dog, who at first is drooling and snarling, and Garou says, "Move away, slowly." They try to slowly back away, but they are attacked by a bunch of monsters who Garou quickly dismantles. However, when he turns around, Rover is ready to attack. And how Rover attacks is with these massive, incredibly powerful death beams that he shoots out of his mouth. As we're first introduced to him, he shoots one out at Garou and the other monsters that are surrounding him. These death beams have insane destructive power and wreak havoc throughout the entire Monster Association, even being felt up on the surface. This is Garou's first time fighting a disaster level dragon monster. He's taken on a ton of S-rank heroes and demon level monsters, but this is his first time against a disaster level dragon, and Rover is no pushover. Garou goes into attack, throwing an onslaught of attacks onto Rover's leg, but it does nothing, and Rover retaliates with a death beam, blasting Garou down deeper and deeper into the Monster Association. Fortunately for Garou at this point, he's going through his transformation process of turning into the ultimate strongest monster, and somehow, even though he's human, or at least half human, half monster, he is able to survive these attacks, but they make him bloody and gory and shred all of his clothes and everything. Garou braces himself on the ground, spitting up blood, completely shredded to bits. However, he was able to survive one of those blasts. But here's the thing about Rover, it seems like he can shoot an infinite number of these blasts, he can shoot multiple projectiles simultaneously, and it seems like he never runs out of stamina. He starts to dart around the Monster Association, almost creating after images of himself with sheer speed, each one shooting out death beams over and over, exploding everything in sight. And Murata went crazy with the art here during this battle in the Monster Association. One, to show the sheer scale of the destructive power of Garou, but also I think he's probably one of the favorite characters of Murata as well, because he just gave him so much love. So after all these blasts are felt even on the surface, Rover is a little confused. He can't find Garou, and it turns out Garou is above him and slams down an incredibly powerful punch, knocking Rover's head into the ground. But he just easily gets up and shakes it off like it's nothing. Garou saying, "My best attack had no effect," and Rover acts like a dog as well, shaking himself off like he's wet. Rover is able to bite down onto Garou's foot and proceeds to start slamming him around like Hulk did to Loki in the Avengers. This is really the only other attack that we've seen from Rover besides his death beams, but I assume he could kind of charge in at you and bite you and other things as well. But why do all that when you can just shoot infinite death beams everywhere and destroy everything? So now he blasts Garou, who's on the ground once again with a full power death beam, and shoots him straight south, straight down into the deepest parts of the Monster Association. Garou in the fetal position taking the full power of this blast, and he is actually able to survive at this point before he goes on to fight the Monster King Orochi. Now Saitama, as he's going through the Monster Association defeating monsters, he bumps into Rover, and we get the first interaction between Saitama and Rover, his soon-to-be pet. Saitama saying, "What did they feed you to get you to this size? Leaving a dog this big around is too dangerous. I wonder if we'll find your owner in this underground facility." Rover goes in for one of his death beams, but Saitama jumps in over his head and gets ready to nail him with a punch. He says, "Sit!" and he punches Rover, sending him flying down the hall. One of the other elite monsters, Nian, can't believe his eyes, who he's a cat by the way, which is kind of funny because Saitama's fighting a dog, cannot believe that Rover was taken out with one punch. And you'll see that a lot of the other monsters have a lot of respect for Rover and his power. Now Saitama meets up and faces the Monster King Orochi for himself. However, this is the first rendition before it was retconned, but there is some interesting interactions here with Rover. Orochi attacks, shooting out one of his crazy beams, and Saitama is able to dodge, although his cape gets a little bit burned. And through all the destruction happening in the surrounding area, Rover snaps out of it. He was unconscious from Saitama's punch. He gets up and he sees that Saitama is fighting the Monster King. And Monster King Orochi is saying, "Rover, you're still alive, kill this human, what are you doing?" And Rover doesn't know what to do. His owner would be the Monster King, but this guy Saitama beat him up with one punch, made him go unconscious, and he doesn't want to mess with that. Saitama gives him that look like, "Bro, you don't want this," and Rover just runs away. He's like, "You know what? You guys can fight. I'm out of here. Peace." He bolts out super fast. He's completely terrified of Saitama. And so he's going to run away and go back into the Monster Association and find someone else to fight. Meanwhile, Saitama will continue his battle here with the Monster King Orochi, who says, "What have you done to Rover?" And Saitama says, "I beat him up. You burned my cape. How dare you?" Even the Monster King Orochi acknowledging how strong Rover is. Like, all the monsters respect Rover's strength, and Monster King can't even believe that someone was able to stop Rover. So in the Monster Association, all of the S-rank heroes have come in to fight, and even Fubuki here teams up with Bang and Bomb as they have an encounter with Rover. This is his third and final fight in the Monster Association, shooting out his death beams, and Fubuki is able to protect them all with her psychic powers, but it pushes her to her limit. She starts to bleed and everything. This monster is way too strong for her. All she can really do is try to defend against his death beams, and they eventually have to run away because she runs out of psychic power, and she says, "I can't protect us anymore." During this time period in the One Punch Man manga, Murata was going absolutely crazy with the art. I think that this is prime Murata. The amount of detail and the landscapes and the depiction of the destructive power from everything going on is some of the best artwork I think you'll ever see in your entire life. They're able to hide in some sort of structure, and Fubuki's like, "I don't really know what we're going to be able to do here. I've never seen a monster of this level." But they acknowledge that Rover is already injured, and that would be because he took a punch from Saitama. It appears he's bleeding or something. And Bang and Bomb are like, "This is actually a good chance for us to take him down while he's injured." But I guess Rover can smell them or something, like he is a dog. He finally finds them, bursts through the wall, charging up a death beam right in their faces, and they're like, "Oh crap." Fubuki thinks they're all done for. She doesn't even really understand the strength of Bang and Bomb. I mean, Silver Fang is rank 3, and his brother is comparable in power to him, if not exactly equal. She's like, "I'm not going to be able to defend this," so they jump in front of her, and they start to use their martial arts to deflect Rover's beams, causing just insane double-page panels of destruction. Again, Murata is such a legend. Just look at this. Sheer destructive power in art form. You literally can't draw better than this. Like, I literally don't think it's possible. Bang and Bomb are surprised that they're unscathed. Fubuki is bleeding from the eyes, and she's like, "You guys owe me for protecting you. If it wasn't for me, you guys would be dead." This is still like the super cocky Fubuki. She hasn't been humbled yet, and she thinks that she's really doing something here, but that's just because she has an overinflated ego. But this time she's out of psychic power. She's about to pass out unconscious, and she's like, "I'm not going to be able to stop this one," as Rover shoots out a triple blast, She tells Bang and Bomb to get away. She's ready to sacrifice herself with her last bit of power to protect them, but they're able to use their Fist of Flowing Water Crush Rock, or whatever all their martial arts are in this case, to deflect Rover's blast, which is kind of crazy considering like these two guys are just human and they're able to deflect energy beams with their martial arts. I love this shot of Fubuki here as the explosions are going off in the background. She just can't even believe she had no idea how strong these guys are, who use Crossfang Dragon Slayer Fist to start pummeling the living heck out of Rover. This does a lot of damage to him. Seemingly he's like on the ground vibrating as he's taking all of these attacks from Bang and Bomb. However, this won't kill him, it won't hurt him too bad. They think he's defeated, but he's eventually just going to get up and he's going to sit. And at this point, he's had enough. He is tamed now. He doesn't want any more. After fighting Saitama and Bang and Bomb, he's like, you know what? I'm done. I'm not going to attack you guys anymore. And this is the point where he just decided, I think that he likes humans, he respects their strength, and he's going to be a good guy. After the end of the Monster Association arc, pretty much all of the surrounding area has been destroyed from all of the battling. Garou has been defeated by Saitama, and all that's left is rubble. And as Saitama goes to look for his belongings in his destroyed house, they find this giant dog here. Saitama's like, whoa, what a huge dog. So they realize it's Rover, but he's smaller now. He managed to survive, but he ran into the strongest heroes, and now he's tame. And just a point here, when Saitama and Genos picked him up, he's huge. Like, in comparison to them, he's still very big, but in the most recent chapters in One Punch Man, he's way smaller. He's like the size of a regular dog or even a cat now, which I'm not really sure about. I'll show you a picture here in just a minute. So this is Black S talking about Saitama and Rover, and he's like, oh, he thinks Rover is a dog? So he must be an animal lover, and maybe he won't kill animals. You know, he doesn't look very violent. And you can see here Saitama playing with Rover now. He really loves him. And this is the start of a beautiful bond between these two. But first, Saitama had to win him over with strength. And we get this hilarious picture of Genos, like all angry because Rover's licking Saitama and Genos is all jealous because Saitama loves it. It's so funny, man. This part just cracked me up. Genos is like laser eyes of jealousy. So Saitama's house, his apartment anyway, is unfortunately destroyed from the entire Monster Association arc and all the crazy battles that went on with it, but now the Hero Association is going to house a bunch of heroes in this new like apartment complex. Black S is going to join them along with Rover, and now Saitama has a new pet for his new home. And in the most recent chapters of One Punch Man, Blast actually teamed up with Rover. You can take a look here and see how he's so much smaller. Blast has him on a collar and was using him for his nose to find Empty Void, but that's when they are attacked by the monster god's divine beasts, which are above disaster level dragon. So somewhere below God and above dragon, these things are two of the newest, strongest monsters in the entirety of the series, stronger than anything in the Monster Association arc. They were able to withstand devastating blows from both Blast's Giga Gravity attack and Empty Void's Dimension Slash attack, which sliced him into a million pieces, but they're able to regenerate their bodies back. So these two monsters are ridiculously strong, and when they first popped out of this dimension gate, they shot out some hellfire beams down at Blast, Saitama, and crew, but Rover, little tiny Rover by himself, fires his death beam back and is able to stop their double blasts in a beam struggle of Dragon Ball Z proportions. Little tiny Rover was able to take on two of the strongest monsters in the entirety of the One Punch Man series by himself. An unimaginably impressive feat. So even though his body is smaller, his power remains the same. As Saitama has little tiny Rover under his arm, he's like, you shouldn't go barking at others, you should just let us heroes handle this stuff. It seems like Rover was protecting Saitama, and in turn Saitama protected Rover, carrying him around in one hand as he was about to decimate those monsters with Rover under his arm. But again, as you can see, Rover is exceptionally small here, but when Saitama first found him, he was way bigger, so I'm not sure if Murata just simply forgot, or he chose to change the design, or Rover has the ability to change his size whenever he wants, which is also a possibility because, look, he's smaller now. The first time you saw him, he was huge. Maybe he just wanted to be smaller so he could feel more like a pet. This is the story of Saitama's pet, Rover. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, and share it, and I'll see you on the next one.